Alright, so I was going to dyno the Tremor today, and honestly I might still do it tonight, but I got to give it a bath. In fact, I got to wash all 4 vehicles today. My son had a friend over, and I convinced him to help me wash them all. So my wife is already gone with hers, but the truck is clean. The BMW, which honestly this poor girl just sits in my shop and looks pretty and gets all dusty. I need to drive it more. She is minty looking. Damn it. 2002 this thing is. And I tell you, it's still one of the best looking cars I've ever seen. It's just good. It's just chunky in the right spaces. The shop is getting there. It's a little messy, but it's way cleaner. I'll show you guys that later. But this guy is going on the dyno soon. She's got E40 in the tank. I've been running kind of a soft tune on her for a while, and she is doing great. So it's time to live up to that info I want to share with you guys about it. So this one's good, and then forgive the messy garage, but here is the twin turbo 2018 S550, and I let the boys wash this one. They actually did a really good job. They missed a couple little bugs, but you know, it's Florida, it's gonna get dirty. I live on a dirt road anyways, but honestly she's looking pretty good too. I just think you know, I like other colors, but you know, black on black works, and those yellow brake rotors are still working pretty good. Anyways, enough about this car. We're going to get down to that truck later on today, hopefully, and we'll see what kind of power she makes on the tune that she's been running, and then feel like there's any room on it, which I know there is. We'll turn it up a little bit, and then I've got a bunch of jugs of E85 down there, and we're going to go to E40, tune it more, and E50. So with any luck, I'll get to do that tonight. If not, I'll do it tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. All right, everybody. So the time has finally arrived. You can see that the truck is on the dyno, and I'm really sorry for making you guys wait for this for so long. I mean, I know there's other people who have already done this, and that this is probably nothing extremely exciting and new. However, you know, for me, you know, I want to see what this does on my 2022 Tremor. So this is going to be E30 testing. Now, I'm no YouTuber. I'm not an expert at any of this kind of stuff. So really, you're just going to get some videos off my phone and me shooting kind of, you know, first person kind of stuff like this. So let's go over some things real quick. Let me switch around here. All right, so this truck, just so you can see, is quite literally bone stock in, you know, intake, the intercooler itself, if you can even see it down there, and the louvers are shut, but it is stock as well. I have not done anything except for this fuel system upgrade, which is really not an upgrade. It is just a ethanol content monitor system kit that I put together so that I can monitor the ethanol content. So, you know, this thing has stock downpipes, stock turbos, and it is running about a 32% mixture. Now, when I get in the truck, I'll show you guys that. So we are hooked up to the dyno previously, and I'll show you some graphs here in a moment. It's made a best of about 440 wheel horsepower on pump gas, 93 octane, which is pretty cool. And it did that in cooler weather. It is summertime here, and it's roughly, I don't know, high 80s, maybe low 90s here, 70-80% humidity as usual here in Florida. So yeah, so we are going to we're gonna jump in here, and I've not run this, so I have no idea what kind of power this is gonna make. I'm expecting 465, 470 maybe. I don't know. I've been disappointed before. I've underestimated before. So this is on E30, and then what's really nice is I actually, on the other side of the truck that you can't see right now, I have about 15 gallons of E85. I think it tested around E80, and I have a little bit of 93 in case I overmix. So my plan is to test this with E30, E32, and then bump it to E40. We're gonna start with E30. This is the big thing. So I've been running this specific tune literally since I made that thread, since, I don't know, February. And I made that fuel, kit, and I wanted to, play with it. So I have had an E30 tune with a little extra timing in it, really no extra boost or anything, just something I threw together, data logged it on the street, and said, hey, this definitely feels a lot faster. My draggy times were better. So I was like, all right, cool, I'll get it on the dyno. And, 2 kids in baseball, 2 jobs, my wife's got a pretty busy business, and just life. No excuse, very happy and privileged for all the things I get to do. But I've just been too busy to get on the dyno. So finally, here she is. This is E30. Then I might tweak it. We got to see the data on the data log. I might see if it'll take a little timing, see if it makes more power. I'm not a guy who'll just add timing because it'll take timing. If it's not making more power, there's really no reason for it. So I did add a little because it's E85, or, well, in this case, E30 on the street, but I didn't feel like just adding 2 and seeing what happens. So on the dyno, we'll be able to see that as well. So maybe it makes 460, but I can add a degree or 2 of timing, and we'll see what it makes there. Then we'll put E40 in, we'll optimize again, see if it take a little more timing, see how things run, and then, if I get enough time, I'll run it to E50. I think that's where we'll stop, because it seems like that's going to pretty much be, the limits of, a safe factory, kind of fuel system, stock injectors on both sides, stock fuel pump, and I just want this to be a nice daily driver. Another cool thing that just popped in my head is that since I've had this in here since February, I've actually towed with it about, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 times. It's usually my boat, weighs about 6,000 or 7,000 pounds, somewhere in there. Haven't really weighed it, but I know based on some data, in the trailer. So it tows great. It's on E30. I data logged it a bunch of times. It's always adding timing. The NOx sensors are always happy. It's got tons of torque, tons of power. Still shifts and drives just wonderfully. So I wouldn't do long distances because the fuel economy does go down a little bit on that E30, but from here to the 30-minute drive I've got to go to the marina, it's not too bad. So anyways, let me stop talking because it's going to get long, and let's jump in the truck and make some runs. Alright guys, so I got you hooked up here in the truck. Honestly, I haven't run this in a while. And so, or actually haven't used the dyno in a while. I forgot to share with you guys that I have built a man cave, which you can't see, but it's over there. And it's really one of the reasons I couldn't use the dyno as well, because I have been building that, and it's taken me quite a while. And at some point I had to take everything out of there and put it everywhere else in the shop. And until literally last week, the shop was a mess. I couldn't use it at all. Well, I mean, I couldn't use the dyno. I couldn't barely use my lift. I could just keep my cars in here and kind of had, tools and things for drywall and all sorts of stuff out, paint, and it was just, it was just tough. So, now we are back in action, and I'll tell you what, it is hot out here. The dyno is in that the dyno thing's in that cabinet, so it says 82 degrees. Sitting in the truck right now, I've got no AC running or anything like that, obviously, so pretty crazy hot. Anyways, let's see here. We're having let's get the RPMs configured. All right, I had to switch inductives. This RPM just wasn't picking up. So anyways, yeah, we're gonna check that out here. All right, it looks like it's working pretty good now. It's nice and smooth, so should be ready to go. All right, make sure the data log is ready and it is connected. Now, to be honest with you, I can't remember last time I ran it. Here's the previous best run. This is my 93 run on made 501 torque, 440 wheel horsepower. But I didn't write down what gear I was in. At least not there. Let me go check these notes real quick. Tremor. Yeah, I don't really have those notes. All right. So anyway, we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna try to run her in 5th gear and see if that matches up, and then if that isn't right, we will run her in 6th gear. So things I like to see my boost, I like to see load, give it a little rev, it'll kind of smooth out the min and maxes. I like to see my knock sensor. That's the one I'm gonna look at the most, guys, so I'm really focused on that because it's really kind of one of the most critical parameters for things in safety. I think this will be completely safe, but anyway. All right, next thing is I had to start the truck again, and we haven't really run it yet, so we're gonna get this traction control turned off, and the parking brake is off. All right, we'll go down all the way into manual mode, hit OK. All the warnings on the dash, they're gonna start flying here in a minute. They're not gonna like this. So looks like everything else is good. We've got our run ready, and I need my thing here now. I'm not used to holding the laptop too much. I usually kind of keep it like this, and we'll hope for a good run. So brake off. We are in 1st gear. Here we go a little bit. Oh yeah, she's upset now. Hood ajar. Stop safely. Close the hood. That's funny. Cameras came on. Usually got to get her up to about 40, and a lot of this stuff will just give up. I haven't run this thing in a while, so I kind of forget. Let's see. Alright, we're in 6th gear now. Let me see something real quick. If I go here, go to speed. Looks like we hit about 120. I'm guessing that was 6th gear. That makes a little more sense. So I'm going to send it in 6th gear. We'll see what happens here. So, all right, we are ready here. We're ready here. Let's bring RPMs down a little bit, and we're watching our knock sensor. Remember, negative is adding, positive is pulling, or flat is okay as well. So here we go. Let out a little early. Speed was getting up there. I usually don't run these tires that fast, but yeah, it actually was 6th gear, so I think we're okay. Just gets me a little nervous on the first one, then you get okay with it. So I don't know what this is going to be, guys. You're going to watch it with me. Here we go. We're going to hit save, and it pops up at, well, 461. Now you guys probably notice that little red dot there, that dropout. And that's what happens sometimes when the tack signal drops. So I switched to my other inductive, which I don't really like on these vehicles because it does this, but my regular inductive wasn't working. So I might switch back to the other inductive, the one I like to use, and see, or I think I have a spare, so I'll switch that out. But actually, let's go ahead and stop. Let's stop the log. Let's save it. Let's get this thing put where it belongs. E30. Alright, so this is E30. This is E30 run 1 on dyno 6th gear. And while we're at it, guys, let's go ahead and review it. I know this is going to be a long video, so we'll just go ahead and review it. Anyways, let's see what we got here. We're going to go max. We're going to zoom in over here. Now, right away, I was glancing at, the knock, and the good thing is the knock sensors came down, and then what happens is they go flat here. And that's likely because I probably have a limit on my spark advance, and so it really just can't add. So it might have wanted to add, but it couldn't, and that's great. That's a great sign because, well, first off, we have no knock, and then if we jump over here and we kind of look at boost is exactly what it's been doing. It's kind of climbing to about 1920. Our charge air cooler temps aren't too bad. They come in after the fact, but about 115 on that. And then let's go ahead and see how much spark it actually is running. So spark advance, yeah, that's what I figured. It's dead flat at 8. And so I've got really nothing in this thing right now. That is kind of soft, but with the way we see the knock and everything like that, I'm definitely going to change that because, I mean, so, 20 extra wheel horsepower. Looks like the torque was 508. Nothing crazy on the torque. There is a lot of power under the curve too, though. So just peak torque kind of matched a little bit, and then power was nice, but we're really just going to taper in some more timing, and we're gonna get this curve to just kind of sing up here. So give me a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and make some adjustments, and we'll check it out again. All right, friends. So I'll probably work out a better camera system pretty soon, because this is not ideal. But I've got you attached to my moonroof with a suction cup mount thingy, and so you can kind of see what's going on here. If you notice, I don't know, you can probably see some of the warnings and stuff. It's not a big deal. This is what happens on a dyno. It just doesn't like basically the vehicle driving and not really going anywhere. So everything's all good. The nice thing is now that I've kind of gotten through that, the ABS and the advanced track and traction control, they all stay off now for until I drive the vehicle on regular road again. I probably have an alert on my phone because it doesn't like that either. Now I did adjust the tack and it was looking really good, and then I just get in here to drive it and it's not looking so good, and I thought I had fixed it because I'd open up the wires and try to make a better connection. It's an inductive. It has to basically go around the wire. I know that's a funny little thing I just did there. And just to get a signal, and it sees the pulses. And it was really smooth until I jumped into the truck. So, all right, we're gonna hit record. And let me pull this over here so you guys can kind of see. All right, I'm gonna make sure I've got my knock sensor kind of front and center for me. Make that a little brighter. Double click, right orange. Alright, we'll get rid of some other things that I don't need to see right now. Alright, that's really the main one. I like boost when it's green, and I like knock when it's red or blue. Okay, alright, so we've got that. We've got our make run config. Let's make sure it's on the next one. File run 1. Okay, so this is more timing. Yay! Alright, and we've got our dialog going. We've got our roll and runs. Okay, so we are pretty much ready to go. I need to grab this guy here. Alright, brake is already off. I'm in manual mode, and we are going to start driving. Here we go. Alright, let's make sure the tack is working. That's this right here. It looks nice and smooth, and it does look like it matches. So, for future video reference, that is inductive, oh shoot, I forget. It is inductive 2 on filter E. I don't think I ever used E before, but it seems to be working really well, so hopefully it doesn't cut out in the middle of my run. Alright, let's get it up into 6th gear now. And get back into the data log because we don't need to watch the dyno. And we're about 1600. I like to roll into it. Helps the converter lock up nice and smooth and build boost. And it won't downshift or do anything funky. Some vehicles will do that, so just gotten used to it. So here we go. We're going to hit the green button and go. Alright, so... And I didn't really mention this, and I know it's probably hard to hear just because I'm in a car without a microphone or anything like that, but in the tune, I didn't actually add any timing in the timing tables. I opened up my limiter. So I used this table, I'll show you. Oh, let's hit save and see what happened actually. Oh, so it obviously completely lost my torque reading. That's awesome. So that didn't work, but the power did make a little bit more. It made 481 up top, so you can see the blue line is up here. So from stock, we're already up 40 horsepower. Now I did see a little bit of knock, and that's probably why the power down low didn't really come up. So we probably found the limit already, and that's great. That's exactly what I want to do. Let's see here. Come on, zoom in. All right, fine. We'll zoom in the old school way. Alright, I am hot in here. Let me put a window down, but you guys aren't going to be able to hear me as well. Yeah, we'll just turn the AC on for a second. It's just going to get the floor wet. Alright, so boost, boost is about the same. Let's see. Yeah, 1920 at peak. Now you can see the knock right here. It's only 0.8. Nothing to really worry about, but, I know it's probably terrible to see on a screen like this, but it's 0.8. It starts to go away, it's almost back to 0, and then a little bit more occurs. And so then let's go ahead and let's turn down the AC so the fans aren't so loud. Let's go look at Spark Advance because that's the only thing that really changed. And you'll see it actually reached about 10, and it was actually okay. Kind of gives me an indication where the limit is. And then when this happened, the fast knock advance or the fast knock retard table basically came out and pulled out timing really quick. And so I'm actually surprised it made any good power up at 5,700 RPMs, because as this little knock occurred right here, you can see the timing drops down to like 6 or 5, 6, something like that. So not that great. Honestly, I wish I had a better run. The torque, you know, I might have rolled in a little late, but the inductive clearly did not stay working as I needed it to. So I'm gonna have to keep messing with that to get that working right. Let me go back and filter real quick. Yeah, it's still all over the place. So I guess I'll go back to my other inductive, and hopefully it'll just get some good runs for me. All right, let's go ahead and look at things real quick. So I'm gonna make another run on this tune after I let it cool, because it was a bit of a hotter run. Let's see where the coolant temps started. Coolant temps, they actually they started at 206 and got all the way to 221. So she was heat soaked. I had the fans off. I was running it, trying to fix things. So a little hot, but let's just see what happens if we cool her down a little bit. And then charge cooler temps. Oh yeah, we reached a peak of 125. And remember, this stock intercooler, so I'm actually still not upset with this. This is really, you know, I just made 480 horsepower. Let's go back to RPM. Yeah, so there's a telltale sign that your inductive did not work. When you change it back to engine RPM, that's what the inductive does, is it takes the tack signal. You get these weird lines. So the only way to really view a dynograph like that would be to switch this over to speed, and then it goes off the roller speed. And it still gives you a graph, but torque, you have to have good RPM to calculate torque. And so once that drops out, you get this kind of a graph. So power still gets red, but torque does not. And like I said, I'm not super upset with it. It just is what it is. I'll have to get, you know, working on it, but, you know, a nice bump here, which would be about, I'd say about 5,000 RPMs and up. So I'm going to smooth it in. No, I'm not even going to change the tune. We're just going to cool this thing down and see what happens in a minute. All right, so the charge cooler temps are down to 100. They're still dropping a little bit with the fan. And the engine coolant temps back to 192. So it's a little bit better. I'm not going to wait all day for it, so we're just going to see if this does any better. I did mess with the inductive again. It's smooth right now. I'm going to go with filter B because I looked at all my other runs, all my JB4 testing, all my 93 testing. This is exactly what I was using. So it seemed like maybe it was just bouncing off the a piece over there, so I adjusted it. Maybe it'll work. I don't know. We'll find out. This is kind of sometimes the pain of tuning. But anyways, it's still fun. All right, we're going to go ahead and get this thing going. See here, live link ready. All right, coolant temps 196. Charge temps are 100. Oh, traction control came back on. That's funny. I'm going to kill that guy. Oh, it helps if I turn the brake off. There we go. All right, service advanced. Right, there we go. Now she's fine again. All right, coolant temps 195. So they're holding right there. Get her up into 6th gear quickly so we don't waste too much of this heat. And we'll get ready to hit it. Here we go. 6th gear. Alright, from right away on the dyno pole, you can see, I don't know if you can see, but you see the orange lines going down. That's the knock. That's a great sign. So it might have been a bit of heat on the last one. Still tells me that I'm at the limit because, I mean, it could be a hot day. You know, I don't want to push this any further and then it cause issues. So we're going to call that good for E30. And let's see if the dyno got the graph right. Well, it certainly did not. I put it back on RPM just so I could see instantly how terrible it was. And these are like some old runs. You could see that they, even though they're small because of this, the way it's scaled, it worked. So it made 472 and the torque is off again. So I am officially going to switch back to the other one. I'm going to cool this down one more time. We'll make one more run so we can get a nice clean one. But 472, 480 was the nice one on the last one. I'm going to switch to speed real quick just so we can see it a little better with... So, yeah, 472. Don't worry about these other runs. These are some old runs, but yeah, it's still got a little bit of a bump, and then it drops, and I'm assuming that's just where the spark is probably getting capped. I have to look at the log. Let's stop the log. Let's save. All right, we say run 2. Let's look real quick. So I'm happy with the fact that there was no, knock according to the data log. Boost is still kind of that same typical curve, and I must have, I might have a spark source that's clipping me, because without knock this time, there's something coming down here. So let's look at spark source. So I'm kind of teaching you guys things at the same time. So you see these spark sources, we've got spark source 5, then 2, then 5, then 2. And if we go to tools and we go to list and go down to spark, 2 is borderline and 5 is not there, but I know what it is. So here's the thing, going back to 2, so it's just telling me my borderline doesn't have enough timing in it, it's just dropping out. So we're running into the combustion stability limit for a minute, and then we're actually running out of timing. Kind of gives me the idea that, well, it might make a little bit more and it would come over here. Now, I'm not going to bore you with that part of the video. I'm going to go ahead and just do some tuning as I need to do it anyways. So I'm going to clean that up and see if I can get you a better graph. You guys get the idea of what I'm doing right now. I'll get back with you when I switch up to E40 here. Oh, and speaking of E40, here's a pretty cool little thing. So I'm just going to show you. This is, forgive the mess, that's the ethanol content in my glove box. So you can see it's 32% or so. So we'll bump that up a little bit, see if she'll do any more. I'm not going to touch the timing. I'm sorry, I'm not going to touch boost. I'm just going to mess with timing. Yeah, I'm sweating like crazy. But let's make some more power. All right, my friends, I did decide to go ahead and make a couple little tweaks. I just didn't like how that timing was dropping off, and I haven't made multiple runs after that. This is my V4 for E30, but I did want to carry that timing a little bit better. I noticed that the spark source was going back to 2, which means it was going to borderline, and what that basically means is that that's the source of where the spark's coming from, the borderline tables, and there's not enough spark in them. So it was basically getting to a limit and then somehow dropping off, which is fine. What we're gonna do is I decided to smooth things in a little bit, see if I can gain a little bit more. I've not tested this, so I did let the truck sit. I didn't realize one of my buddies was gonna drop off my car hauler that he was borrowing, so it got a little extra cool down time as well. So that's nice. It's gonna be, you know, maybe a little cooler run. Call it a glory run, call it whatever you want. I'll tell you right now what the temps are. I'm about to pull them up. So it looks like the coolant temp is 190, so it's really nothing crazy. And the charge air cooler is 85, so that got down a little bit lower. All right, so we are ready to go. We're going to unlock the brake. Boom. Make sure dyno jet's ready. I did change the inductive back to the other one, so hopefully it'll hold a good signal, do better than the other one was doing at least. So we'll see. So we are in gear, brake is off. Let's start to accelerate and get her ready to go. The truck has text messaged me on the Ford app like, I don't know, 8 times because all these things are upset. So that's kind of fun. All right, so we are 5th gear, 6th gear. Coolant temp is 188, charge temp 85, so it should be a nice cool run. All right, we're in 6th gear. Bring her down, make sure this is ready. Looks like she's ready. Looks like the tack is really good right now, so I'm hopeful. All right, here we go, 1400, let's roll. So I know you can't see or feel things, obviously, but I can see the spark still did a weird drop off. Probably carried a little bit better, but maybe I get some RPM data out of that that'll help me with figuring out where the power's falling off. Let's go ahead and save and see what happened here. Oh wow, guys, let me pop you out of this little holster here so you guys can see. This is the red line, and we did have a tack drop again. I'm just gonna have to fight that all the time. I don't know if you can see that, but it says 491, 517 torque. So definitely an improvement. Let's go ahead and stop this. Let's save our log, and let's put her in the E50 or E30. E30. Oh, all right. I'll change that later. I messed up the name. But all right. So putting you back up here, you go. Go up there. I know this is probably not ideal, but this is real life, guys. I don't have time for the rest of this stuff. So if you want to tune with me, you want to see what's going on, I'm happy to show you. I enjoy it, but I'm not going to get all fancy, right? Not yet. All right, so I was watching that knock sensor. It kind of went down, came up, went down, came up, and what I'm assuming is we're popping into that limiter, that spark limiter. So if I look at spark advance, it actually looks like it kind of rode right there. It looks like got 10 degrees, then it dropped to 7.5, and I'm not sure why. I'll have to really review the log. And then we got 10.5, 11, and all the way to 11.25. And I did make that change. And then right up here, we've got a drop. Now, I might be seeing a drop too for transmission truncation as we get close to the RPM band. But let's go back over here and look. I'm not too worried about that drop. Let's see how it looks in RPM. Get rid of, well, yeah, you can't really use it in RPM. Once you get that screw up, it just ruins it. Just ruins it all the way. All right, back to speed we go. I forget that's what happens. I don't know. I have another inductive in my tool chest, my backup sensors over there. I'll have to switch it out and see if that helps. But for now, I mean, it is getting the job done. So we're seeing a peak of 490 wheel horsepower in that run, and I don't know what RPM that's at, but it's at 110 miles per hour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cheat. I'm going to leave my thing there. I'm going to go back to my 93 tune, which I know actually kept it, and see if we can calculate it. Now I could probably calculate the RPM based on speed, but let's just see here. So peak is right in here. Looks like about 5,700 RPMs or so. And so at 5,700 RPMs, let's get RPM up here. It's right about here. So I know the cursor's over here. It's because of resolution. It's a live link bug. So right before our spark drops off, we get 5,700. And so that kind of tells me, let's go back to speed so we can see this smoothly. It kind of tells me that, you know, if this is right around 5,700 RPMs, that we probably will carry this power better if I can get that spark to stay. So what I'm going to do is I'll show you what I would normally do here. I'd go ahead and clear everything out, get RPM up on the map, get my spark up here, and then look at my spark source. And we see 5 again, so that's the combustion stability limit. And then we see 2 again. So I just need to add more spark into borderline. A 2 is running from borderline. So it's just not, it doesn't have enough to hit the limiter. And that's okay. I'm happy right now at 490. I don't think there's really any reason. I mean, you guys, we're at, what are we at? 440 on a glory run on 93. And let's call this a glory run. This is still a 480, 485 on E30. That's it. I mean, 32%. So it's getting kind of late here, and I think I really want to check how E40 goes. I may not get to E50 tonight, but I'm gonna put some more ethanol in this. I'm gonna let it mix, get it to E40, and then we're gonna try. We'll smooth out that spark a little bit and see how that goes as well. But I think we're gonna end up with like 12 to 13 degrees in this truck at E40, and that's got to be 500 wheel horsepower all day. From a truck that dynoed stock at, well, stock 5th gear. This is fully stock. I couldn't run it all the way because it was stock. This is before I even could tune it. So its best stock, I mean, it's pathetic, was 345. It's not pathetic. That's actually not bad. I mean, the Gen 1s were making like 310, 320, you know, depending on the dyno, but mostly on dyno jets, 310, 320. So, you know, 345 is not that bad, but we're going from 345, tune and fuel only. Right now I'm at 490. That's not bad. Not bad at all. And torque I've purposely kept like on the lower end of the RPMs, flat. So there's plenty over here. I mean, there's probably 200 foot-pounds here, but in the early range where it hits, you know, its peak torque on a stock tune, it's hitting a little more peak torque, but not much, and then it just keeps going. So pretty excited about that. It's pretty good so far. All right, so it's still loud in here. I'm pulling down the truck, but we are pumping E85 into the truck. If you don't have one of these things right here and you pump a lot of gas, get one. So it says about 2.5 to 3 gallons at the current fuel level should get me close to E40. So I started the truck while it's running, and it's going to take some time to mix, but you can see the ethanol gauge is over there. So we're going to we'll see how much it takes. While you're here, I'll give you a little tour of the shop. So, got some cool signs. My buddy hooks me up with these, and there's a bunch of junk I had to take out of my car hauler for now. And then this is that office that I just finished building. Now it's not furnished yet. I got my little racing chair. I'm gonna get better. I gotta put some couch here. I'm gonna get a better desk over here. But for now, you know, it's not furnished, but it's pretty sweet. It's like my little man cave. So, anyways, there's my BMW way back there. My little baby. All right, let's go see what's happening here. We want about half of this jug, and we got a little ways to go. So I'll let you know what happens. All right, we're back. So I added about three and a half, maybe a little more than that. I don't know. There was maybe 5.5 gallons in that jug, so probably 2 gallons left there. Maybe 3.5 gallons of E85. It was about 80%. And then I had to drive it, so it wasn't moving at all. And you gotta goose it and give it some gas. And you'll see right now it's actually sitting at 45. Now, I have been doing this for a little while now, and I expect that to actually mix back down. Sometimes I see what happens is it gets a little bit more, and it thinks, yeah, you know, the sensor is picking up that there's more ethanol going through, and then as it blends a little bit better, it kind of starts to mix back down. So right now it thinks it's about 45%. I'm okay with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put her in drive. I've got the brake off. I got everything pretty much ready to go. Also, kind of a dumb thing on my part. I've been doing dyno jets for so long, and we always use an inductive. And I kind of forgot that we can do wheel speed. Now, wheel speed does a gear ratio. Basically, you put it in the gear that you want, like 6th gear, and you pull it up to 2,000 RPMs and hold it, and then you hit calibrate. And it calibrates it off the tire size, and it does a great job because it's all math. But it's not as accurate as RPM, and I'm saying, when I say not as accurate, I'm talking about splitting hairs here. I'm just kind of anal. So my point here is that I'm going to be doing gear ratio from here on out for my tack. So I will get smooth graphs. Everything should work just perfectly as long as I pull it in 6th gear, because that's the gear it's calibrated for. And I'm probably just going to do that forever now. I just got to keep reminding myself that I don't need my tack every time. Some vehicles I'll use the tack on, but for this one, it wanted to be finicky. I even went and got a brand new sensor out, and it still did it. So it's just not liking the wires. I cut the shielding back more and made it so they had more space, and clamped it to something. It's just not working for me tonight. So anyways, back to this. We've seen about 45% over there. I'm okay with that. So I'm gonna give it some gas, and check this out as I'm driving. Here we go. Check this out. Watch. Boom. You can see, you know, as the pump kind of pushes things around, it jumps around a bit, and there it goes up. So I'm okay if the ethanol content's actually a little high on this run, because I put a hotter tune in it. It's an E40 tune. So now it's going back down to 44. I get the impression that I'm going to be right around 42. That's 42, 43, and that's a little higher than I wanted to be, but I've got some 93 to splash in if I need to. It just takes forever to mix on a dyno. I'm not driving left and right and stop and go, so I'm not really getting any kind of, like, you know, movement of the fuel itself. So it's really just the pump and, you know, kind of acceleration, and just the pump itself kind of aerating the fuel. So we're back down to 44. I think it's go time. Let's put you up here. There we go. Oh, there we go. Nice. All right. Let's get us back over here. We check communication. We're back on view. Let's hit go. Oh, dang it. Check communication again. Don't do this to me, X4. Let's just roll. All right. All right, over here, make run configuration. I do need to change something because we were on E30 before. We're going to make a new folder. This is E40, okay? So these are new runs for E40. Everything's good. Also on my RPM, I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm using gear ratio up there, and it's already been calibrated, so I don't have to worry about any of that other crap going on, okay? Little thing I never said earlier, I'm not using load control. You don't really need to on this vehicle. for power numbers. If I was doing other tuning, I would, but for this, not really necessary. So again, sorry about the wonky angle. I'm trying to let you guys see the laptop and kind of some of the things I do. So anyways, we have no communication, which tells me unplug the X4, plug it back in, wait for it to boot up, and then exit this menu because it's not on the right menu. Then hit check communication and pray. Alright, we're sitting at 44.5 over there. I think it's coming down just a little bit. Come on now. Let's go. And my laptop's almost dead. I've been charging it in between videos, or in between flashes. There we go. Alright, let's go to vehicle. Now the truck's been running and it's sitting here getting hotter and hotter. Yay. But it's okay. It is what it is. Alright, engine coolant temp. Let's find out what it is. It is 206 right now. Jesus. Alright, and our charge air cooler is 103. So this is not any kind of glory run. Let's put her in manual mode. Let's go ahead and turn the brake off. Get myself a little more slack here. There we go. Alright guys, we're in manual mode. We are going to 6th gear. Here we go. Alright, we are just about there. Coolant temp is stable at 207. Let's get our knock sensor on the screen because that's really what I care about. Let's see that. And our pedal. That's about it. Boost and everything's going to stay the same. Nothing else is going to change, guys. I'm not trying to inflate numbers with extra stuff. This is just run to run the same thing. All right, so we have our knock sensor up. We're at 1800 RPMs. Coolant temp 206. Charge temp 100. Green button. Ready to go. Alright, if you guys can still hear me, I did glance over there. During the middle of the run, the ethanol content, because it's probably getting, you know, the pump is really pumping hard, it actually went up to 48.5%, 49%, but now it's back down to 43%. So you can see, I mean, I'm not trying to push my product, but I'm just saying monitoring your ethanol content is a big deal because there's just shifts just in that. So you go to the pump, you mix it perfect, you're all confident, but you can't see what's really in your tank, and you really don't know what's getting to your rail and to your fuel injectors and to your engine if you don't have some sort of monitor. Now this is really one of the best things you can do, so when it comes to mixing. Now let's find out what kind of power it made. I didn't feel like that was a great run, but it felt smooth. So let's stop our data log after we hit save here. Okay. Let's see here. Gotta clear all these out. I think it's the orange run here. Oh, that's a nice smooth graph. We're back on. We can use engine speed again. There we go. Oh, that's nice. Golly. Basically, hang on. Let's save our log. Stop. I don't like all the extra crap I don't need there. I did go in and smooth some more, guys. I went and made some changes to help smooth that out. So this is our E40 V1 Run 1 on dyno, and we'll go and take a look real quick how everything looks. Oh wow. So I'll tell you, that ethanol already made it a lot happier, and it's really probably about 12% more right now. It'll settle out, but you can see that knock sensor was just like, hey, all of it. And spark wise, we don't have that drop, so I fixed the drop. Now here's something interesting. Right here we're seeing about 12 degrees of timing, and we were only seeing about 11.25, maybe almost 11 on the last one, so got a little bit more timing with less drop off. Now what's nice is it does carry the power better out here, but what alright, apparently my phone decided that at, you know, 9.5 minutes it would just stop recording for a minute. So anyways, point is here, we've got some nice numbers here. I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit more timing, smooth some more things in. and it's mixing down. I see 43, 44 right now, so it's looking like it's about to settle in, and I think we'll get that 500 number here in another pull. So I'm just going to let it cool down. I'm not going to call it a glory run, but it is kind of hot. I mean, we're starting at over 200 coolant temp, starting at 100 degrees charge temps. You know, we don't have enough airflow here, so I'm going to let it cool down while I write some tunes, and I'll be back in a few. All right, friends, so this might be the last run for the night. It's 8:30, and yeah, I just got other things I got to do. So, but we've been having some fun, and what I did here is I modified the spark again, and I let the vehicle cool down a little bit more. Actually about to connect to the data log to see what's going on. The gauge over there, you can't see it. I'm not gonna move the camera. It just says it says about 44 right now, but I think we're right at like 42, 43 in the tank, so it's gonna blend a little bit more as we get a little load on it. So regardless, like, guys, this is pretty exciting. I'm thinking, you know, the coolant temps, they're 197. I opened up the shutters. I don't know how that works. I need to put a camera up there. I mean, I know how it works, but I don't know if that's gonna help. I don't know if they're already open. Coolant temps 198. Charge temp still 90. Little cooler than last time. So what we're gonna do, we're just gonna make this hit before things get too warm. Remember, it's you know, from the dyno it says it's 80 degrees in here. 78, sorry, I rounded. 78, so, you know, not great, not terrible. You know, I'm not so good at this stuff, and I have no idea why, but I know I hit record. And at some point it shut off. I don't know why. It says I've got, I mean, I am limited on memory right now. I need to go and clean things up. It says I still have like 20 minutes worth of recording left, and that's fine. So I just made my hit. It was exciting, and I'm gonna call this a big win. I only put timing in the top side anyways, and I was literally about to show you guys like this, and I looked up and it wasn't recording. So either I hit the wrong button, or I don't know. Anyways, I see a big nice fat 498. Looking over there, I'm at 43.77, somewhere in there. What I'm seeing, oh, let me stop my data log. What I'm seeing is a surefire 500 wheel horsepower. Now, I don't play around like everybody else. Okay, that's shit talking. I don't mess with my correction factor. I run SAE smoothing 5 all day, every day. But there's plenty of guys out there that are doing, they gotta have the best numbers. So they go in here and they change it to standard and they hit OK, and now it makes 510. So 510, 532 torque, standard, and I'm gonna go back to what I think is the right way to do things. We're at 498.49 with 520 foot-pounds of torque, and consistency is nice. I didn't touch the low end, so it's actually laid right over itself, and you can see if I put the red one right there, that's where it's at, guys. And I mean, this is where it shifts from 5,000 to 6,500, right around 6,200 your shift point. You are in 100% the most power on this tune. We'll look at the data log. It looked like I got clipped by the cylinder pressure limit again, which is fine. I did that on purpose. I didn't know what it would take, so I set it. Let's see. I set it max spark to limit combustion pressure. Peak would have been about 13.25. Let's see what it got. Let's see. Now the knock sensor was happy till this point, and that's probably because we'll see a spark source change, and we'll see it change. Yeah, it got clipped by number 5 again. Totally normal. All right, so spark comes up, and we get 13.25. Guys, that's actually a lot of spark for an Ecoboost. I mean, you're talking about a vehicle that, let me take you out of this holster so I can talk to you guys. You're talking about a vehicle that when it's on pump gas, 93 octane even, stock, maybe does 3 to 4 degrees, maybe. So And it maybe it sounds like a lot to you, it doesn't sound like a lot to you, I don't know. You know, it's crank angle degrees of when that spark fires. Sorry, I suck at this. But that's pretty impressive. I could guarantee you if I just cooled this thing down a little bit more, it's over 500 SAE. I can guarantee you right now, based on the knock sensor, that it probably has another 1 or 2 degrees to go. And you know what? I might just go up, make myself some dinner, fix up some things, and then leave the truck sit here and cool down and come back for a glory run just for fun. I'm definitely not going to get to E50 tonight, but we're sitting at 43.78, somewhere in there. So a little over E40. I kind of maybe mixed it a little bit much. I think I did, but that's okay. I'd rather have a little extra. That's good safety. I'm not going to get to E50 tonight, but that's okay. I'm going to do that pretty soon, and we'll find out where that's at. I already know we're at 500. Let's just average it up to 500. 500 wheel horsepower. I'm purposely keeping the torque flat like that. I'm not adding extra boost down low. I'm building it the way I want so that this is going to be a very safe, long-living kind of tune. So, anyways, I'll update you guys. Maybe a different video at this point. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys who might have watched, I don't know, all 45 minutes to an hour, whatever this is going to end up being. I don't normally do this. I don't normally edit things like this. But we'll find out. It might be some fun, and I like sharing with you guys. So thanks for watching so far. All right, guys. So I went and took care of a couple things, and I decided to come back down here. Coolant temps are down to 180. Charge cooler temps down to 80. So you know what? I'm gonna call this a glory run. This is, you know, for some of you this is probably normal. For some of you this is maybe kind of cool. It doesn't really matter because I just want to see what it'll do. I mean, E40 is kind of where I want to run this at most all the time. E50 is kind of like a race only thing. So for me, you know, if this is E40, then let's go. So we're going to make sure this is working. It looks like it's good. Data log is on. We're already in manual mode in 6th gear. Drop this down low, out of the way. Not trying to make a rap reference, whatever. All right, we are about ready to go. So coolant temp, let's make sure it's good. 190. Charge temps 80. All right, here we go. 6th gear, yep, M6. Let's make sure knock sensor is hot. And here we go. By the way, I did not change the tune at all. I just let it cool down. That felt really smooth. The knock sensor was happy. So we're gonna hit save. And there we go. Put her on the line. Here we go. And again, I'm gonna fix that dip when I get a little more dyno time, but it hit 503, 516 torque. Save this real quick. Stop. Save as, save all. E40 V2 run 2. I mean, that's just 2 revisions on the E40. I clearly could add more timing, but I just ran the same file. I didn't want to. I just want to know what it would do with a little more cooldown, you know, just a little bit better temps. I mean, I've been running this thing for 3-4 hours, so I wanted to know how would it like that. And boost curve actually looks a little funky. It peaked at 21.75, but that's just that little blip right there. I don't know if you guys can even see that, but you know, knock sensor's really happy. Spark advance, again, no more than 13.25, which is the same as last run. So if I were to give it some more room, probably 510, 515. But you know, I'm not worried about that. It just made 503. SAE corrected with smoothing 5. I know it's just, I mean, that's a lot, guys. Let me give you a little perspective on that, okay? Let me get rid of some of these. Let's just do some best of the best runs, okay? We've got our E30 run, and I remember this one right here. Dang it, we got to go to speed. Sorry, general and then speed. All right. Oh, that's not even the best one. There we go. Get rid of that red run. All right. So we got that, and then we've got 93, the best ones right here. And then stock. Stock kind of sucks because I never did it in 6th gear stock because, again, we had the speed limiter, so I couldn't run this fast. And I probably could now flash a stock tune into it with a speed limiter removed and do it, but I've got E40 in the truck. And by the way, it's reading 43% over there. 43.767, yeah, somewhere in there. So it's right where I kind of thought it would fall. And that's a little higher than 40. Not a big deal, guys. I'd rather have a little more ethanol than anything. And then there's no stock 6th gear because, again, I was running it fully stock. This is before we could tune it, so this was just how it went. But from a stock standpoint, we had 345 horsepower. And then from a 93, we had 440. I'm sorry. Golly. Yeah, no, I said that. 345. Then with 93, the best of the best, 441. Okay, I know it's probably really hard to see. And then with E30, we hit 492 as a peak, mainly about 485. Still friggin' sweet. 460 off the start, and then I did a little tuning. We got 492 as a peak. And then E40, we're at 503, and I know I have room to go. This is probably going to end up being more like a 510, 515 type of tune. I'm probably going to stay up now because I'm kind of excited and do some more tuning on it. Maybe I'll video it. I don't know. I'm just thinking, you know, look at this curve out here. It's just carrying, guys. This is insane. It's exciting, you know. If you guys know me, if you remember me from, you know, the old days, sorry, my hand always gets in the way. Just trying to get the dang phone out of here. You know, you'll know I had a Gen 1, I had bigger turbos, I had high pressure fuel pump, I had all sorts of stuff, I did E85 testing, I did all sorts of things. And, you know, it probably could have made a little more power. I didn't own my own dyno back then, so I didn't get to do as much testing as I would have loved. But I know, you know, it settled around 450 on that Gen 1, and that's nothing to, like, complain about. But here we are in a 2022, you know, it's lighter, it's got a better engine, it's got all sorts of, you know, things that just make it feel safer. It runs so smooth. Like my 13, you know, it felt like it was pushing that, you know, like it felt like it was modified. This thing doesn't even feel like I've modified it. It feels faster, but it doesn't feel like an engine with a bunch of stuff on it. I've got an SMB intake sitting over there. I have a Titan V2 intercooler on order. It'll be here soon. And my goal with that is to go ahead and get this thing to a certain point, do some baseline runs, and only swap those things. I'm not going to go back to 93 or base or stock or anything like that. I'm just going to figure out, you know, is this a good supporting mod? And I know which ones usually are and which ones aren't, but we haven't really done data like that in a long time, and a lot of guys don't. A lot of shops don't put it out there. They just want you to buy a bunch of things, and I don't want to be that guy. I want to make sure that, you know, if you're spending your money, you know, you're getting good money, you're getting good value out of it. End of the day, you know, right now, I can get you 500 horsepower. I can get you 500 horsepower with a tune and an ethanol sensor, you know, so you know what's going on, and fuel. And it's crazy. I had to do so much to my Gen 1 to get there, and now I'm well past that, and it's lighter, and it's got the 10 speed, and it's mind-blowing. But you know, that's what almost 10 years of technology does, you know, so things are good. Anyways, for 504, 516, you know, pretty dang good numbers. I'm gonna hang up the hat for now, and I'll see you guys in the next round.